This section is about the form of philosophy that we use in Christianity. Each religion has its own rules for answering questions that are not divinely revealed, and that's usually through some rules of philosophy for that sort of um, solution. So Christianity, for its part, uses the philosophy of the early philosophers, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, etc. But since then, the Church has advanced and refined their philosophies throughout the ages. Um, the reason you need to know this is many of the Church teachings use these these philosophical terms, and when I explain to you some difficult subjects, I don't want to dumb it down. I want you to understand really at the root of what I'm saying, and it would really help for you to understand these terms for that. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the four causes. All right, so the causes are about helping you try to identify what something is, and you'd be surprised to find out just how important and how difficult a problem that can be. I'll give you an example. Imagine a guy calling a furniture shop and ordering the four cheapest chairs you've got. I don't care what they look like, just mail them to me. And so the guy on the phone goes, okay, sure thing. And he mails them four big old rocks. They're big enough to sit on, but they're not chairs. So they eventually go to court, and the guy who ordered the chairs said, I ordered chairs, and they didn't send me chairs. They sent me these rocks. And the other side responds, well, they are chairs. You can sit on them. That makes them chairs. So the guy, so we did give them chairs. So then the court ends up becoming a debate about what the definition of a chair is, right? And actually, we have some big questions in politics that are really about the question of how we define things. An example is in the question of abortion, right? One of the central questions that's being asked in that is what is a human life? And what about in the question of trying to redefine marriage, right? The question is, what is a marriage, right? So we want our language to reflect our reality, our physical reality. What happens when our language doesn't reflect our reality? Reality comes back to bite us. So that's very important. So the question is, how do you define what something is? Well, it turns out Socrates knew that this was a problem, and so he came up with his best effort to resolve this, and basically he came up with three of the four causes. So imagine this scenario: Socrates is standing in front of a tree, and he asks his students, "What's this behind me?" And they go, "It's a tree." And he's all, how do you know it's a tree? And they go, well, it's made of wood. But he goes, but all, many things are made of wood. Does that mean they're trees? Well, no, but so they come up with other answers like, well, it came from other trees. It provides shade, right? And these are actually all good answers. When taken together, you can define tree. In the and actually, I gave you kind of the three of the four causes that Socrates came up with. The first one, it's made of wood. Well, that's the material cause of the tree. The matter is what it is made of. Then there's the other part, it came from other trees. That's called the efficient cause, or the agent. It's what created the tree. What caused it to exist. And then the third one is called the final cause, or the purpose, right? It provides shade. What was it made for? It provides shade. Or some trees provide fruit, right? So these three causes they use to try to help define what things are, but it turns out that these three causes were not quite enough. Later, Aristotle noted fourth cause, and the fourth cause is called the formal cause, or the form. We could say that it's shaped like a tree, but the formal cause or form is more you're not trying to be quite that literal. That's shaped like a tree, because something can be shaped like a tree. You can do a carving that's shaped like a tree, but will not actually be a tree. Like more, we would say that the cells and the DNA are also part of the form of the tree. So the form is, what is its distinctive root nature? So now we have four causes. Now these are not perfect. There's still room for debate. There's actually a case that I want to give you about the definition of law that Thomas Aquinas gives. It's an ordinance of reason made for the common good by the one who has care of the community and promulgated. So, if you notice here that Thomas Aquinas was being a very good philosopher, and in his definition, he made sure that all four causes were there. So, a philosophical definition is different from the dictionary definition, right? A dictionary definition is something that we use to help us communicate ideas. But in a philosophical definition, we need to know the nature of the things that we're talking about. So this is a philosophical definition. So we're going to break this down into the four causes. The ordinance of reason is the formal cause. The one who has care of the community is the material cause. The common good is the final cause. And promulgated is the efficient cause. So, there's a debate about this, though. Some people want to switch the formal cause and the material cause in this definition. So what does that do when you switch the formal cause and the material cause? Well, in the case of Thomas Aquinas, the formal cause is what is its root nature, right? So an ordinance of reason is primarily what makes a law what it is. So if it's not reasonable, in serving the common good, then it is not really a law. It can't be a law because that's the formal cause. But if you make the formal cause the one who has care of the community, then it's a law by virtue of the will of the one who made it, right? So it would still be a law even if it wasn't an ordinance of reason, because you can change the material of something and it'll stay what it is, but you can't change the form of something and let it stay what it is. For example, you can change the material of a chair. A chair can be wood or stone. It'll still be a chair, but once you change its form, it becomes something else. So that's how, that's the definition of law and the different opinions of that. So question for you, what opinion does the Constitution of the United States hold for the definition of law? Well, the founders went out of their way to make sure that the more powerful didn't oppress the less powerful, right? So they agreed with Thomas Aquinas' definition that the law has to be an ordinance of reason, and it's not law simply because the one in power makes it. All right, so here's another quote from Martin Luther King Jr. He said, "I would agree with St. Augustine that an unjust law is not a law at all." And then Martin Luther King, in that same section, will go on to quote Thomas Aquinas along the same line. All right, so the final section I want to talk to you about is substance and accident. All right, the substance of something, is basically it exists in itself. That's what it means. And an accident is it exists in something else. meaning is not a thing, but rather a mode of a thing. So substance and accident are opposites. And I'll give you an example. Skin color is an accident. It's accidental to human nature, to what's substantial to humans. So you can't use skin color to say that one person is more or less of a human than another, because skin color is accidental to human nature, not substantial to human nature. And so that's basically how it's used. So here's some other examples of accidents. There's relation, quality, quantity, action, passion, location, right? You can't say a person is more or less human based on being in one location versus another. There's duration, position, and clothing. Those are some examples of accidents, right? They're a mode of the thing, not the thing itself, right? And so that's important to consider when making philosophical definitions as well, and that will come up as well. So in the next section, I'll go over with you a small number of additional definitions that we need to know about.